Alright, welcome to turns 23 through 28, my Age of Wonders 3 Draconian Necromancer series. So I got just in the zone and forgot to do the recaps at the end of each turn. So we're going to have a bit more to cover for this. So you'll see what kind of progress I've made. So we'll go through the event history and then check in on how our heroes are doing and artifacts and what we're researching and stuff like that. So the battles I did during 23, unfortunately, in turn 24 it didn't save, but starting with turn 25 it does remember things from the last 3 turns in terms of battles, so we can scroll through that. Yep, just clearing some stuff there. I hate how it scrolls you down. It's harder to keep track of stuff. But yeah, the turns are getting a lot beefier at this point. Man, so much to scroll through. Okay, so we'll try and keep track of this. So we looked at that. And so here, oh yeah, this is interesting. So this is a good example of, I picked up my first Deathbringer from here, and they're a very interesting unit for this strategy. You can see I incorporated the Knight into this guy's stack. So let's see what happened here. Now for these folks, because they're undead, you're not lowering their spirit protection through the normal means, because you can't curse them and you can't despair them, right? So what you have to do to get undead units on your side is you have to kill them, and then, as I talked about before, use Greater Reanimate Undead to raise them. Now, summoned units that are incorporeal, like Banshees and Dread Reapers, when they die, they disappear. They do not leave a corpse, so they cannot be Greater Reanimated Undead. And that's something important to keep in mind. They still can be controlled undead, or they still can be necromantic auraed to your side, but you can't use the Greater Reanimate Undead. So he's dead. Raise him right away with my Greater Reanimate Undead. Now he's on my team, which is great. And now it's just a matter of tanking the rest of the shots. I'm trying to raise his level as well. And it's okay if he dies, because I can lesser reanimate undead, but I'm trying to get him as many levels as possible. Yep, trying to get him in the mix. Yep, there we go. And so that's how I got Deathbringer. I can send the Deathbringer. The Deathbringer becomes like a third Necromancer hero, because the Deathbringer, while it doesn't cast Despair and other things like the range attack of a Necromancer hero does, the Deathbringer does have Ghoul Strike. So if you can lower the spirit and resistance of juicy enemies you want to ghoul, and then have the Deathbringer come in to hopefully Ghoul Strike them, that can be a very viable strategy. So I pick up several folks, several additional units with my Deathbringer. And in fact, I had a lot of great success with that, to the point where I'm considering for my guide possibly at some point building a few Deathbringers, or at least prioritizing finding them in tombs and Greater Reanimating them so I can use them, because it really helped with building my army. But anywho, let's come back up here. Third battle, just low-key stuff. Okay, so I did Bone Collector, finished. What was this battle here? Okay, so, yep, I cleared out the temple, which was not too difficult. Just so you can see the strategy for how I dealt with temple. You can see this, look at this quickly. My unit, this can be pretty deadly, because undead is weak to both fire and spirit, so Sphinx temples are some of the deadliest places to deal with. I'm trying to take some guys out at range. That's unfortunate when they can do multiples. So that made me sad. Oh, you know what? I think I was wrong about my Banshee claim, because there is a corpse there. And I'm pretty sure no, actually, I can't reanimate it, because I don't. It's tier 3, and I would need a Necromancer hero, so I guess I just... how did I do that? Was it a tier 2 actually? Is it a tier 2? Let me find a Banshee. Because I did not expect myself to be able to raise that. Alright, let's do it the easy way. Where do we have a Banshee? Okay, Banshee, it is tier 2. Okay. Okay. So because it is tier 2, my Reanimator, this guy, the Reanimator was able to raise the Banshee. So that's how that worked out. That's good to know. Okay. And so I guess Banshees do leave a corpse. So maybe it's just the Dread Reapers because they do that immolating explosion thing and then disappear. But at any rate, scrolling back up. So much stuff, and that's a big part of winning so quickly. Is you have to be very efficient with your movement and get a lot done in each turn. I'm never pausing, or very rarely pausing, for example, to say heal up or something like that. All right, so that was finished. Okay, Cadaver. Okay, rolling through these guys, nice and powerful. This is good for Greater Webbing Touch, so you can proc them down before ghoul striking them. Very handy to have Spider Queens with your Necromancer heroes for that reason. What else? Heroes leveling. Okay, just cadavering there, clearing out content. Summon Dread Reaper. So because I've been winning a lot of battles, and with Whispers of the Fallen active, you get research points from that. I got to Dread Reaper pretty quick, especially clearing those Sphinx temples. So I'm immediately, as you can see here, prioritizing starting to summon Dread Reapers because they are wonderful late game units. Great lifesteal. Stealing Researched, which is a nice spell for certain circumstances when you have tanky units that can take beating but stay alive from the lifesteal. That is just, I think, was from some quests. So we got some items, which we'll look at in a bit. Ugarak, okay, what happened after Ugarak? So clearing a stack here. Would have loved to greater reanimate that, but it's not one of my Necromancer heroes, so I cannot. Ugarak. Yep. Okay, so another battle, same deal. Would have loved to be able to pick that up, but I don't have a Necromancer hero nor a Deathbringer that could do that. Oh yeah, they have this. This is definitely a battle worth watching. So these attacking these structures, or maybe I forget what these guys were on. Oh yeah, it's I forget the name of it, but this Prismatic Spire stuff does damage. So check this out. So my goal is that both of these units are excellent. Now Chthonic Guardians. Chthonic Guardians are dedicated to neutral. So since I'm going for a dedicated to evil build, they will be unhappy with me if I'm able to ghoul them, but they're still so strong that it's still worth it for me to pick up a Chthonic Guardian. And certainly, Shock Serpents, whether they're mature or king, are absolute priorities. Absolute priorities for ghouling, because these guys are amazing, and you don't even have to go to the trouble of leveling them up. If you can find them at treasure sites, then you can make them your own. So I'm going to really try and proc these, get these guys down low on spirit resistance and on resistance itself so I can take them over, whereas I'm not really too worried about the rest of the units. But these are pretty tanky units. So we'll see how I do this. So I'm trying to put them barely in range, I think, so that this guy attacks. Dragon Ancestry on. He's inspiring them. I think it puts their defense super high, maybe? I forget. Okay, so these guys are coming in. This guy does a nice job tanking. Just made champion 1. Super tanky. These guys. Yep, and with that lifesteal, it's great. So he just, took out a bunch of units. He just took out 2 units. Alright, now I'm wanting to just have this guy barely attack and knock him down before this guy comes in. So I'm trying to arrange my front line so that he attacks someone, lowers his guard, and then we can get his spirit resistance low. So he comes in on the flyer. And thankfully he doesn't stun the flyer, which is always a concern. Okay, so I'm prioritizing knocking this guy's resistance down. So let's see what I do here. So start with this, of course, the procced curse, but no despair of procs, unfortunately. He is now immolated, so that further lowers his resistance, and so I said that was good enough. And so I was able to ghoul curse him, because I didn't have more time, and he didn't have more health to lose with additional attacks. So I went in, and that 8 resistance was low enough that I was able to ghoul curse him, which was pretty sweet. So now I'm going to turn my attentions to the Chthonic Guardian. I'm trying to ghoul curse him. Boom. So I'm arranging myself. So we'll see where he comes in. Okay. His defense is still super high. So here we go. So he was despaired once. That's good. Let's see if we can immolate him. No. So I'm gonna take up his movement abilities a little bit just by running into him. Just clearing this guy off so that this guy has free movement. I'm moving him back and attacking because he only has 23 health. I want to be able to get in as many attacks with, and I don't do the Banefire because that kills him faster. I do the Black Bolts usually, which because it's only 2 channels. So I'm going to Black Bolt him here from a distance and hopefully get additional procs. So you can see I despaired and cursed and despaired, and I also, the nice thing about being at this level is I'm able to afford, let's look at the other. So not only do I have this typical trio of stuff, but I have the energy drain. So it has a chance to reduce their movement by 50%. So if you get this off, especially twice, they have no movement. It stops them absolutely in their tracks, which is really wonderful. So he has no movement. So he's not doing anything next turn, which buys me more time. But I was able to get a few shots off and lower his spirit resistance. So he's at 60% spirit resistance and only 9 resistance. So this is looking promising for being able to ghoul curse. So I'm just cheesing experience and healing up. Boom. Ghoul cursed. So there we go. Then we just finish him off. Okay. So let's see. So that was this one, I think. Necromancy 5, so I'm getting up there. So you want to hit 90, because 9 times 3 is 27, and it costs 260 to summon Dread Reaper. So having 90 spell points allows you, and you can see Heart of the Blight there is one of them. I'm prioritizing building fortresses and Hearts of the Blight so I can get those casting points. And there's a few hearts on the map that I'm doing that with. But so I'm getting close to 90 here so that I can summon Dread Reapers in 3 turns, which is kind of what you want to shoot for. It's harder to ever get enough casting points until, say, like turn 65 or 70, when you can summon them in 2 turns. So 3 is pretty kind of typical. Okay. So let's see. So Necromancer, picked up this, I ghouled that human knight, which is great. And then items arrived, so turn 27 starts. And then 4 battles. So let's see, I picked up a Greater Reanimated Undead, this Draconian Reanimator. And then since, I mean, Gold High Elf Storm Sisters are really good for the stun on attack, I picked that up as well through ghouling that unit. So that's what I was doing with that. And, oh yeah, I cast Embrace Darkness on one of my border cities so I can summon units in that place. Just killing those guys, pretty low key. Just some rando units I'm clearing out with some of with those Gould units from last time. Yep, okay, that was that. What else? Advanced Seafaring, because I want to get to Advanced Logistics, so that's why I'm headed in that direction. Okay, so yeah, this was a place where I wanted to be able to pick up a Chthonic Guardian and an Eldritch Horror. It would have been really great, but I was not able to. I mean, this unit's not as highly leveled, this unit's not as highly leveled, so we can see how I tried to do this and how it didn't work out. So it's unfortunately a missed opportunity here. The Eldritch Horrors have pretty high resistance. I mean, 16 resistance is pretty intense. Damage. Having them attack the cadaver, it can take so much for a tier 1 unit. See, so none of that procced on them, just an immolation. So just bear once. Yeah, so it's getting pretty hairy here, so let's okay. So I'm gonna have to be raising him in a second. So yeah, I tried to get him as low as I can. So 12 resistance and still 40% spirit protection, because the Eldritch Hordes have naturally that sort of protection. So it's going to be hard to Ghoul Curse them, but I'm definitely trying, but having to be mindful of all the other stuff competing for my time here. So still trying to reduce its spirit protection. That's out. We'll have to raise that soon enough. Attacking, so, you know, immune to Ghoul Curse. So it didn't work. So I tried my best, but it didn't work out. Then I think I turned my attention to the Chthonic Guardian. Some serious damage, pole arms against Knight. Now I'm getting antsy here because I have to raise this Baby Shock Serpent, but I also need to be raising this Human Knight if it dies, so I'm starting to be mindful of that. So I get out of the melee range so I can try and... So I think I end up killing it. I'm not sure if I meant to or not. I think I might have wanted to kill it so it wouldn't kill my Human Knight. So I think I was willing to let the Chthonic Guardian die. So that's how this played out. So I tried, but it just ended up being a little too difficult. There, he's back, so yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, a little lower quality units here in terms of low levels. So when I was clearing out the Sphinx, this guy died, unfortunately. What else? What else? Clearing out stuff underground. Is there anything else I need to show? A bunch of battles here at the end. That's not interesting. That's not interesting. That's not interesting. That's not interesting. It's just a bunch of little easy battles. Yep, just clearing stuff out. Clearing stuff out. Yep. So with this one, I ended up picking up a hunter for a little bit of utility. So those were the events. So let's look at what I've done so far. So I want to take over this city, but I need a better force to get down there. So they're headed there eventually. Keeping this guy here to guard this place. Took over this city. We've got a necro stack heading out this way. I'm trying to start a second stack out here soon. Pick that up. Oh yeah, this dwelling I'm eyeing, where I was doing some quests for them, sending guys this way. I think I'm going to take this city over. Just some rando units for exploring. So that's top side. You can see I'm summoning Dread Reaper. This place finished growing, and I did cast Embrace Darkness, so I can summon the Dread Reapers in here, and it'll go from Life Drain to Greater Life Drain, which is amazing. Here, building more of these plates. This is also getting some growth. It just settled here, or I'm going to settle there, rather. Heart of the Blight, so to boost it up, I built there, and the plus 30 knowledge is really nice. Exploring, these guys are trying to catch up with these folks, going to take over this mirror dwelling, and so I'll have to show hero levels soon. Might do that on next turn, actually, since we've covered so much in this video. I'm friends with these folks, so they keep giving me quests, and so I have some guys hanging around. I picked up these 2 units from a quest, so I'll keep doing quests for them. I need to explore closer over here, closer to my capital, sending out a guy that way. And Giron is down this way, trying to clear out stuff down here. And so, yeah, that's an overview. So we'll look at more of the Empire stuff next video, but that's turns 23 to 28. See you next time.